All right, part 3 here of my lawn renovation video series here for the fall. Little spoiler alert, made a big mistake. I'm going to explain that mistake. I'm going to show that mistake. I'm not going to reveal what ends up becoming of that, but you'll see that in part 4 of this video. But my big mistake was I tried to be too gentle on my Bermuda. If you watched last year's video, you noticed that I completely scalped it all the way down, ripped it completely out, dethatched it, aerated it, just completely destroyed my Bermuda. This year I wanted to be a little bit more gentle on it because I wanted my Bermuda to be able to still kind of recover next year, which I had good intentions. Alright, we just cut down this Bermuda here. I cut it twice. I went one on my normal setting just to cut it down. It's been a few days since I mowed. Then I went a second one in between a S and a 1, so not quite a scalp. I didn't want to completely take it down. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to dethatch this year. I'm not going to really do anything. I want to keep this Bermuda base kind of nice here before we overseed. This is as low as we're going to go. Alright, so could not get Milorganite in my area, so I got this other stuff that's supposed to work pretty much the same. It's a 45-pound bag. I've got approximately 5 pounds of seed, so I should be using basically just under, or basically half this bag. I'm not gonna figure out exactly 20 pounds. If I do use a little bit more, it won't be that big of a deal. I'm gonna mix it in this. My biggest question is how well is it going to come out of my drop spreader? I still don't believe that it's going to come out very well, but I guess we'll give this a try. All right, so that's the seed there. Again, I started this Monday night, Saturday evening, hoping I don't run out of daylight at this point. So roughly half the bag there. Just going to mix this up really good here. This seed is supposed to stick to this pellet fertilizer here so that it'll come out the drop spreader. So I'll mix this up really good. All right, I mixed the crap out of that. Update, I decided to put these in the buckets just to kind of try to measure them out. We've got just under 1.5. It's about 1 and it's a little over 1/3. So I'm gonna basically use this full bucket on the backyard, I think, and try to split this up here for the front yard. And it's not quite perfect. I'll probably take a scoop or two with my scooper and put it in here, and then I'll try to break this up kind of in half and do it that way. All right, we got roughly half that bucket right there in that. So that should this should take care of what I need here on the strip. Okay, I thought it was better to start with a really low setting. I started with a 4. And pretty much nothing's coming out, so I'm going to crank this up to like an 8 and then see. I don't want it to come out too fast, but I also need it to come out. All right, this actually worked. I'll take you up top here. Spread this out just about perfectly. I figured out my spreader setting needed to be on 18 all the way up, but it came out up here. I went 1.5 directions almost absolutely perfectly with all this stuff, and it turned out pretty good. We got the water running here. We're going to wet this down here before we top it because I need to go do the back road quick before this seed kind of dries up a little bit. So I'm going to let this run for a little bit. I got to go mow the back, and then we'll put the topper on. All right, so back here, this is settled in a little bit more. It looks thinner. It's probably a little bit thinner than the front. I was kind of out here doing this in the dark, but it did kind of settle in with all the sprinklers going off. But my Bermuda actually turned out really nice. It's a lot thicker once I kind of had it scalped down and looking at it. But here's a look at the backyard. I'm out here this morning. I'm just kind of cleaning up the aftermath of all the dirt and debris and mud and tools and stuff that I left out. I was out here working last night until roughly 9:30 p.m. Without a break. I didn't even stop to eat. So I didn't take as much video of me actually working. There's a little bit that's going to be in this video. I've done other, how-to videos and fall renovations and whatnot. So check those out if you want to see the actual footage of me like compacting dirt or rolling dirt or scalping dirt, that sort of stuff, or scalping grass, that sort of stuff. Okay, so here we are at the 1 week mark on this grass. And most of what you're seeing here is Bermuda grass, and it kind of took me a week or two to really kind of notice this. There's baby germination a little bit in there, but this Bermuda grass is just thriving, and it kind of choked out a lot of my stuff here. I was a little bit ultra patient with this and thought, well, maybe I ended up doing a couple cuts on it and trying to cut the Bermuda down and thinking that, the KGB would pop through, and it did at spots, but ultimately this Bermuda just kind of choked out a lot of this new growth in here. Again, I think I put this seed down 15 days ago, not including the 4.5 or so days that I pre-germinated it. The one thing that I've learned is that you've got to be so extremely patient with this KGB, because it does not just act like perennial rye, which is what I'm used to, where after a week you've got all this green grass, and after a week and a half you're mowing, and after 2 or 3 weeks you're just thriving, and it's like, wow, look at that. My one thing that I've definitely learned is that I was probably way too gentle on my Bermuda. I was trying to keep my Bermuda alive and thriving, and to where it wasn't going to be super blotchy next spring. Because every year what I do is I'm super aggressive on my Bermuda. When I go into my fall renovation, I dethatch the hell out of it, I aerate it, I scalp it down to the freaking dirt, and I just, by the time I have booming Bermuda grass the next summer, it's almost time to overseed again. And so I was going to try to be a little bit more gentle on that. That kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit, because that Bermuda just took off with the organic topper that I put on it, starter fertilizer, and obviously all the water that I put on it the last few weeks with heat and sunlight and everything else. The Bermuda's never thrived better than it is right now, which is kind of choking out some stuff, and I can't even tell half the time. Most of the time I can't even tell what's a Bermuda blade and what's Kentucky bluegrass blade. So that's been kind of confusing. I wish I'd scalped it down lower, and I also wish that I had put a heavy dose of growth regulator, on it before I had scalped it out, because I do use growth regulator on my Bermuda. I think I was a little bit overdue. I'd have to check my journal, my turf grass management journal, but I think I was overdue for another application of PGR and skipped it, just thinking it wasn't necessary. And I wish I had done that to kind of stunt that growth a little bit, which I think would really be helping me right now germinate some of this new seed. So again, it's more of a confusing thing. It's a patience thing. I don't have this, inch tall perennial rye like what I'm used to. At the 3 week mark, I'd be striping stripes in this thing right now. And although it looks phenomenal, it's mostly it looks phenomenal because of the Bermuda. So those are some things that I'm kind of at right now, and we'll kind of continue along this journey. And again, if you could like or subscribe this and hit the notification bell, or share this, ask me any questions, or if you even have recommendations or anything that you could tell me to help me improve this situation, please leave me comments and hit me up, because I could use all the help that I can get at this point.